The Fancounters Celebrity Podcast, number 175. Coming to you from nowhere near the entertainment capital of the world, this is the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast.
You were like the carrot top of interviewers.
Wow, how disappointing was that question?
You did not just ask me that.
Well, that's a big question.
Never mind, I'm done. I'm not doing the show.
Wow, I can't believe it.
I'm telling you, I'm hooked.
Nick.
Yeah, he's still awesome. He's still a good friend of mine.
Welcome to the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. My name's Nick.
And I'm Tracy.
You can follow us on social media. Go to Instagram and check out Fancounters Live. If you are listening to this podcast, we're still promoting the crap out of our YouTube page. If you search Fancounters Podcast, you'll be able to see us do the show. And you'll be able to see our guest on the show as well.
And you can see our bright, shiny, smiling faces.
That's right.
That's right.
I don't know if anybody noticed any changes from our early video podcast till now, but we did kind of move the studio a little bit. Same sort of setup in the background, but we had a color change, and we're just in a little bit better spot where I don't have to take things up and down every week. So,
and that was a good idea.
I think so. It worked out a lot better, and my kids aren't running into all my stuff all the time. That's what's most important.
Yes, exactly, because then they can knock things off the set, and then somebody will go, hey, how come that was there one week, but then it's not the next week?
That's right. A few months ago, we had Yaya Gosselin on the show. She is not only on FBI Most Wanted, but she was in the #1 Netflix show called We Are Heroes. And another young man who is in that film is here with us today. His name is Tristan Riggs. He's a young actor who's not only in We Are Heroes, but also a movie that's now available on Redbox called The Seventh Day. And this young man likes horror movies.
Yes,
He's
does.
my kind of kid.
I know, hey?
It's amazing, though, how much they've seen of scary movies. And he even makes mention that they're not scary to him anymore because he's already been on set. He knows how it's done.
Yeah, I know. When I was 12 years old, I hadn't seen a whole ton of scary movies.
See, I had. I was a big Poltergeist fan at the beginning. I remember watching the 3.5-hour movie It, with John Ritter.
Oh, yeah.
I liked all those movies. Cat's Eye, Pet Sematary.
I think one of the first scary movies I saw was The Exorcist.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The things like possessions and stuff, Exorcist, I get a little bit more freaked out on.
Nope. I remember what the first horror movie was.
What was it?
The original Blob movie.
Oh, are you serious?
It was the very first horror movie I ever saw.
It's not even a horror
I
movie.
know.
It's ridiculous.
Now I watched it literally just to kind of go, okay, I got to see this again because I haven't seen it in 40 years.
It's like the movie Critters. Remember that?
Oh,
another late 80s movie. It's so bad.
Yeah, but the Blob was in the 70s, dude.
Oh, is that far?
Yeah,
well, I've seen it.
The original one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 70s, and I watched it, I'm like, really? This scared me? Okay.
But what film scares me is like The Conjuring.
Oh, that's messed up.
It is messed up.
That's amazing.
I was scared to actually own the movie because instead of renting it from a Redbox or something, I'm like, well, it's $5. I'll go buy it. I was scared to keep the movie in my house because
it'll crawl out of the box.
I thought it would start haunting my house or something. I don't know.
But
that movie's freaky. I have not seen The Conjuring 2 yet. Because
you haven't?
No. Have you?
Yeah, you got to watch it.
Is it better than the first?
Well, I don't know if it's better than the first, but if you saw the first one, you got to watch the second one.
I feel like that. I should.
Kind of like with the Saw movies,
See, the Saw movies were awesome. The first one especially because it was done on such a low budget.
Yep.
And in that single couple locations, it was very suspenseful and awesome. I thought Saw 2 was even better.
Okay.
But then they started to not do a scary movie. They were doing more for just the gore factor.
Right.
They tried to get as gross as they could.
Well, do you remember when you and I went to see that release of the one? What was that one called? The one Saw movie that we went and saw together in the theater.
It could have been any of them.
The
last one?
I think it was the last.
Saw
one.
7, I think.
Yeah, but it was called something else. It had another subtitle to it or something.
Probably. I don't remember.
And I said I haven't seen the originals, and then I did that binge watching of the movies.
Oh, that's right. It was the last Saw movie.
Yeah.
Because I needed somebody to go with.
Yeah.
Kathy was done with it. She's like, I can't believe you sit and watch that. I think she thinks less of me because I enjoy the Saw movies. But it's just something about the suspense and the putting real people in situations that really could happen, which is why The Strangers is one of my favorite movies, which is, it's not a horror movie, it's a terror movie, because people knock on your door, and if you don't let them in, then they terrorize you. And at the end of the movie, the woman, have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
At the end of the movie, the woman goes, "Why are you doing this to us?" And the answer, "Because you were home."
So does that mean if I come knocking on your door and you don't answer, I can terrorize you?
No, not at all. Well, we're finishing up here is Gremlins 2. We had to do it in 2 nights just because we started it too late.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing Gremlins 2. And the first one was so well done. The second one is so ridiculous.
I didn't remember. I don't even think I saw Gremlins.
Yeah,
2.
they have like all the actual gremlins and the mogwais that get produced from Gizmo are like have. It's kind of like they're. One of them is like the crazy eyes.
Right.
I mean, they're all goofy looking. They're not like the normal mogwais.
They were all goofy looking.
No, but these are like spinning. I don't know.
So you mean they look like Gizmo? But they look they
like
got
deformed
like
gizmos,
Gizmo?
And one of them's got crooked teeth, like it's a hillbilly gizmo, and it's just I'm serious, they're weird. So tonight,
Gizmo.
after we're done with the show, the kids and I are gonna finish watching that movie.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, we got way off topic.
What's for dinner tonight?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Kids always want to go out to eat. They don't like my dinners.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because I make real food that I like. They get breakfast that they like and lunch that they like. They can suffer through one meal that I actually will eat.
I thought maybe it was just because they didn't like the way you cook.
No, I cook awesome.
Okay.
You wouldn't. Don't ask them that.
You do make salsa. That's amazing.
I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to the show.
Okay. Sounds good.
Tristan Riggs is here. He's the star of the movie The Seventh Day. He plays a boy who is possessed, and they have an exorcism on him. Sounds awesome.
Exorcism, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
sounds good.
Pretty cool.
He's also been in other horror movies as well as Sesame Street, not a horror movie.
I love Sesame Street.
And also, as we mentioned at the top of the show, the We Are Heroes. So we're going to hear all those stories from Tristan right now on the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. Tristan Riggs, welcome to the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Good. Thanks for being here. Now, a lot of times we have guests that easily tie into some past guests that we've had on the show. And you're no different because I noticed you have a credit, and hopefully it's correct because IMDb has gotten me in more trouble sometimes than it should. But you were in the number one Netflix movie, We Can Be Heroes. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. So we had Yahya Gosselin on a few weeks ago. What was it like for you working on that film?
So it was really fun, I always whenever I get the chance, I always love to go and do stuff that's local, even if I'm just an extra. And going on the set was fun. And yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
And to see the movie do so well has to, make you feel pretty proud to have been a part of that. And a lot of the movie was done on a green screen. Did you work on a green screen when you were there?
So when I was on set, I was doing a school scene where we were actually at a school. So
okay.
We were not on a green screen, but I have worked with green screens before. And personally, I like the sets, like the school and stuff, better because you get to interact with your surroundings.
Yeah, and it's very hard, I would think, to imagine what you're actually interacting with or walking towards on a green screen. I think that would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like expecting you to react to something, but yet you can't see it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Everyone in our audience has a memory of growing up with Sesame Street, and last year you appeared on an episode called Elmo's Good Luck Charm. Did you film that segment on site, or did you have the magical experience of doing it, going to a sound stage?
So for filming that, I was a lacrosse player where Elmo was sort of explaining how lacrosse goes, and I didn't actually get to go on set and meet all the Muppets, but it'd be really fun to do someday.
Did you get to interact with Elmo?
No, sadly I did not see Elmo.
Oh, man. That's okay.
That's a bummer, man.
It is
that
a bummer.
Been like the highlight for me.
For sure. Anyone familiar with your work is expecting us to move on to the less happy genre of films, which happens to be one of my favorites. So I have a lot of questions about The Seventh Day because you play a possessed boy in the film. So let's kind of get into that if you don't mind. That movie, by the way, is now available at Redbox. I saw it, so it's where you can find it. So I heard you talk about this film, and I immediately start thinking about the Linda Blair movie, The Exorcist. Did you, because you're a possessed boy in this movie, did you see The Exorcist at all? Or have you ever seen it?
Well, I've actually never seen The Exorcist, but I have heard that it's really scary, and I really just wanted to try and make Nicholas Miller like his own character when I was going into film.
And tell us a little bit about what the film is about. What can we expect what's the plot?
So the plot is like we follow two exorcists, and one is a rookie who is going through training with sort of a pro exorcist, and they later find out while they're doing all these cases that something's not quite what they think it is.
Okay. Very cool.
Okay. You're a pretty young guy. Do your parents set limits on what you can watch and how much of something you can see? Because you're in some pretty scary movies.
So yeah, my parents do set limits on stuff like some inappropriate stuff, but horror movies, they usually let me watch them, especially if I want to watch them, especially if I've been in them, because if I've been in them, I've sort of seen what goes on, and
Right.
I'm not too scared of them.
Are you ever surprised when you see yourself on film, like how it turned out? Do you ever wish like, oh, I wish they would have used this take, or, do you have moments like that?
Yeah, sometimes I see the take and I'm like, that wasn't the take that they were saying that was good, but but it still comes out really good and I like it.
Cool. The makeup for this movie, The Seventh Day, had to be pretty intense because you went through hours, right, to get into makeup each day. Talk to us a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, the makeup was crazy. It took over 3 or 2 hours, but it really paid out in the end. It was awesome, and the special effects were really cool.
What did you do in the makeup chair for 2 or 3 hours? Just look at your phone while they're, doing their thing?
Honestly, I might have fell asleep, not even gonna lie.
Wow.
I suppose. I mean, if you're sitting there and they're just doing stuff to you, and you, especially, did they make you close your eyes sometimes for makeup?
Yeah.
Well, see, that's an easy way to fall asleep.
That's true.
I close my eyes. I sometimes fall asleep.
What special effects were you involved in that you were kind of surprised how they did something? Did anything on the set kind of shock you as to how they went about making this look so real?
Well, for the bubbling, like burning arm effect, what they used sort of like a vapor, and they blew it out of these latex sort of bubbles that they put on my arm with makeup, and I thought that was really, really cool.
Because you had a guy underneath the bed actually making whatever the effect happen, right?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So you've been on sets with small budgets and movies like this one with a large budget. What differences do you notice, and does it affect you at all on how you do your scenes?
It doesn't really affect me, whenever I just show up to film something, I'm really just focused on getting my lines done and having fun.
Now, you've mentioned in other interviews that you've done your own stunts, and sometimes you're not happy that they're not being used in the actual production or the final product. What kind of stunts are you talking about? Like, how crazy do you get?
Well, one really cool stunt in The Seventh Day is I got to levitate off my bed using this pulley.
That's cool. And you actually were the one, like, how did they make you levitate? They have wires on you, or,
Yeah, they hooked up sort of like rock climbing gear with a pulley, and someone was pulling me off screen to levitate.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't it amazing that they can hide the stuff that they put on him to lift him up? That's pretty cool.
Have you seen the movie now that it's out?
Yes, I have seen the movie.
What surprises you about some of the stuff that you were in? Anything?
What surprises me is how the editing really changes it from the filming. Because the filming it was not really scary, I was sort of just doing my scene. And then the editing, there's all this crazy, scary music, and all the special effects are actually put into action.
Because you've been asked before if you're scared while filming a scary movie, but you're not, right?
Yeah, I don't really find it scary, especially when, like in the seventh day, I am the scary one.
Great.
In the past, you've mentioned that you love horror films and you love doing them. What draws you to them?
Well, what really draws me to horror films is that I get to do things that most other genres of films I don't really get to do, like doing my own stunts or crazy special effects.
Very cool.
When I was your age, I did want to be in films and on television, and I think it was mostly because I wanted to be in the spotlight. I wanted to walk red carpets and get fan mail and that kind of stuff. And you found yourself now at a young age in that position. What do you love about being recognized for your on-screen talents, and what's not so fun?
So what I really love about getting recognized and being on sets is I love meeting new people and seeing who may be fans of me. And what's not so fun is, I don't know, it's all pretty fun. I kind of like, just doing all this stuff, and it's really fun.
Do you have a moment that maybe somebody recognized you and it made you remember that moment? Have you had an encounter with a fan that sticks out and like, wow, I'll never forget that?
Yeah, actually, someone from my Boy Scouts troop noticed me from Bloodfest, and they said that they've been a big fan of horror and Bloodfest. And I was really surprised by that, especially since, I have been in Boy Scouts with this person for a long time.
You don't have to sign autographs for your friends, do you?
I feel like some of them joke about being like, you should sign an autograph.
Yeah.
But
Well, they should collect them now because
Yes.
you're headed to big things here.
Exactly. So things with the pandemic have school messed up all around the country. During this time, have you been going to school in person or are you being homeschooled?
well, right now, I am going online. So I used to go in person, but currently I'm going online, and that sort of helps filming stuff.
Yeah. Do you ever find that, I hear a lot of child stars. We have a lot of them on the show, and they talk about sometimes they really have to decipher if somebody's trying to be their friend because you're a great kid or because that you're in the entertainment industry. Do you find that you've had to kind of make those judgment calls about people yourself?
I actually have not. I usually hang out with this one friend group that I met, and I've known them for as long as I can remember. And whenever we met and became friends, they didn't even know I was an actor. So
Cool.
Well, that's cool.
One of your passions is traveling. You have quite the extensive passport, from what I understand, right? So you've been to 9 countries, countless experiences. I have to ask because, are you traveling because of jobs or maybe your parents' work or something? Like, how have you been so worldly so early in your life?
mostly why I've gone to all these places is that my parents really just love to travel and go to places and experience like new cultures. So
That's cool.
No, I think that's amazing.
That's very cool.
I have 2 9-year-old twins, and we try and do as much traveling as possible because I feel like those real world experiences are things they're just never going to forget. So I think that's awesome. What around the world, what have you seen that you've loved, and what experiences have you had that have been your favorite?
when I went to Prague, that was probably my favorite place to go to because I got to go rotoboning, which is practically sledding on this sort of metal track down a big hill.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Are you tied into like a cart or something?
Yeah, it's almost a cart that has stuff that slides on the bottom, and you can put on brakes. And
Is it
it's
similar?
really fun.
Is it similar to a bobsled?
Yeah, it is
Oh.
really similar to a bobsled.
That would be cool. I need to do that.
I don't know. That roller coaster stuff doesn't sit well with me sometimes. You also skateboard, right?
Yes, I love skateboarding.
And there was something about a story where you were, when you're at a skate park, you go to the top of the ramp, and you were like, was it your first time that you were gonna launch down this big incline or decline, and you were scared to do that? Is that something you've
Yeah.
mastered now?
Yeah, I've now really found a love for skating in the bowls, and it's actually almost the only thing that I do when I go to the skate park.
How do you get used to doing something like that? Like, I mean, maybe after the first time, you don't fall down, and then you're like, whoa, that was a thrill. I want to do that again. Is that kind of how it is, or how do you get used to mastering that skill while still being a little afraid?
For me, you really just go the first time, and it's really scary the first time, and maybe even the second time if you don't get it the first time. And then once you get it, it really just comes to you, and it's not really scary anymore.
Any injuries from skating?
Yes, I have I think I fractured my thumb.
Oh,
Oh, he's got off lucky so far.
it sounds
But
like it.
yeah,
I was
I'm
expecting
pretty-
worse.
Well, yeah, I was like expecting to say you got a broken arm or a broken leg or something.
You've got a movie coming up. I hope you can talk about it. It's called Old Man Jackson, right? I want to make sure I get the right info. It's got Kathy Garver in it and Richard Reel, who I know from Office Space. Can you tell us anything about the movie?
So it's a comedy, and I'm causing trouble to in my scene I'm causing trouble to this news team, and so it's really fun because I get to act and skate, some of my favorite things.
Did you film that during the pandemic or before?
Yeah, so we filmed it during the pandemic, but of course we all wore masks and
Yeah.
social distanced as much as we could.
So, like, the only time you can take off, how's that work when they're filming? Do you have to take off your mask, like, when you're doing your scene and then go back and put it on right away? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you have to wear your mask, but then when you're filming, you can take it off.
Okay.
Are they changing the scripts at all to kind of not make the actors so close? Or, I mean, does the vision change because we're in a pandemic?
Well, mostly everyone gets COVID testing
Okay.
Okay.
done, so we can sort of get a little bit closer.
Like if there's a scene where, you're supposed to, and this might not be on your project, but you're supposed to give somebody a hug or something. Are they like, maybe we won't do the hug. We're just going to, do something like a nod. You know what I mean? Are they changing things because of the COVID protocols? Do you know about that?
I don't necessarily know on this film, but I do know on some other films, yeah, they are sort of changing the script around.
So, like, doing a fist bump or something like that, or
Yeah.
elbow bump, like that. I think, okay.
What other projects do you have coming up? Anything you want us to know about? Let the fans know about?
So, nothing really other than The Seventh Day, of course, and Old Man Jackson.
And where can we follow you on social media? Are you active on any platforms? I know, I don't know at your age if I'd let my daughters on social media, so I don't know if your parents do. Do you have somebody managing an account for you?
Well, you can follow me at Tristan Riggs Official on Instagram,
Perfect.
which my parents and me sort of run together.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yep. Very good. Well, thank you, Tristan, for joining us, telling us a little bit about your film, The Seventh Day, which you can go out to Redbox and check him out in that film. And then Old Man Jackson. Do you have a release date on that or still in editing probably?
I think it's coming around December.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of your school year.
Yeah, thanks. It was great meeting
And
you.
We'll check in with you again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Our thanks to Tristan Riggs for joining us on the show this week. He was a pretty cool kid.
He is a really cool kid.
Yeah. He's going to go places, I think.
I think so.
And we're glad that he joined us. And he's got the new movie, The Seventh Day, that is now out on Redbox. So go on out and get that film. And that's pretty much going to do it for us this week. A little bit shorter show.
He also could be maybe the next Tony Hawk.
Yeah, with the skateboarding and the hair.
Oh, yeah,
I used to have hair like that.
You had hair?
I did. Hard to believe. It's funny. I showed there was people at school that I work at.
Okay.
They didn't really believe that I had this long storied past where I would meet all these celebrities when I was working in radio.
All they do is ask me.
So I brought in the book. And they're like, "Oh my God, you had hair!" I'm like, "I wasn't born bald." Jeez.
I do remember when you had some hair.
I know.
Yeah.
Because we went back that far.
Yeah.
But then they said, "Oh, now we have to bow every time you come into the room."
Really?
To me, yeah.
You have to bow to you?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I know, right? They haven't done it yet.
Well, you should say, "Come on, I'm waiting."
Exactly. If you are still listening to the show, go to YouTube and check us out at Fancounters Podcast. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at Fancounters Live, and you can always email us at hello@fancounters.com. That is going to do it for us. We've got another celebrity guest coming up next week. In fact, this woman has been on multiple Lifetime, Hallmark movies.
This is right up your alley.
It is. I'm super excited because she's done more than 5 or 10 Christmas movies. And as you know from listening to the show, I'm all about that. So we'll find out all about her career, and we will tell you who it is when we come back next week, next
You know what
Friday.
I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
Talking about her hobby.
Okay, there's a teaser for you.
It is.
You have the same hobby.
That's right. All right.
That's next week on the Fan Counter Celebrity Podcast. Come on back next Friday.
We'll see ya.
Bye.